This is my presentation on killing Osama Bin Laden. Starting off with, who was Osama Bin Laden? He was the leader of Al-Qaeda and a terrorist, and he led the 9/11 attacks on the United States of America. Al-Qaeda was the group that he led that committed several terrorist attacks against the United States and several attempted terrorist attacks. The biggest and most famous one was being the 9/11 attack in the United States, but there's several other smaller attacks that he led that were trying to bring down the Twin Towers, but he was successful on the attack of 9/11. Again, 9/11, that's when the two airplanes hit the Twin Towers, destroying them, killing thousands of people. The wreckage of Flight 93, which crash landed, and also the attack on the Pentagon, which all occurred on 9/11. Kill or capture. When the Navy SEALs were given the call that they knew where Osama Bin Laden was and were trying to operate a mission on him, their goal was not just to kill him. They preferably wanted to capture them. So when they got word from President Obama, their main goal was to capture him. They didn't want to kill him because they wanted to kind of figure out what he was doing, who was part of it, and what they could do to put all of this to an end. Now the compound. The compound was a house that was mostly too big for the area. All the other houses around it were shacks, but this one in comparison was 3 stories, and it had a 12-foot concrete barrier around the whole entire house of it, and this was named the compound. Now, because of security footage and drones by the United States, there would be what they would call the pacer, who was walking around the courtyard every day. And when the pacer would be walking around, it's not that he would help people who were working. They would just continue doing their own thing. They did not help anyone. Also, everything with the Navy SEALs, they weren't sure what the inside of the compound would be like. They had no really way of figuring out what the inside of it would be like. And also the compound was 1 mile away from the Pakistan Military Academy. So all these suspicions led to this attack. 24 Navy SEALs, 1 dog, and 2 Blackhawks. 24 Navy SEALs and the 1 dog were all going inside of the compound. The 2 Blackhawks were modified aircrafts that the United States had produced just for this mission so they could get in and get out. Now, talking about the mission led by the Navy SEALs was they practiced this about 100 times. In the United States, they made a copy of everything that they could of the compound in the United States. So they worked on this every day for months. And in late April, 1 month before the mission, the president wasn't quite sure that they had Osama Bin Laden there. The president reached out to a CIA agent who was a specialist on where Osama Bin Laden had been, and that's all that they focused on was Osama, but she was very sure that that's where he was. Mayhem at the compound. So when the Navy SEALs were landing in the compound, one of the Blackhawks crash landed. The airplane did not get destroyed or anything, but by a margin of a couple of feet, the first airplane landed inside the compound with the tail of it up on one of the 12-foot compound walls. Now, because of this created a havoc. All their plans had gone out the window. They weren't able to land where they originally wanted to on top of the building and not have the other one land in the courtyard area. Now it was a complete mess. All this practice that they have done had gone out the window. Now, while all this mayhem was going on, the president was cracking jokes because of the White House dinner. So all the senators, all the news reporters, everyone was there, and they had no idea that this was going on. The president knew, but no one else really knew. And when the Navy SEALs were doing this, they got lucky because there was a blackout in the area. There's no power. There's nothing going on. So they were very lucky that the way everything fell into place. And the fact that the aircraft did not blow up and kill all of them is also very impressive. Now, getting inside the compound. They had only planned to be on the ground for about 30 minutes inside the compound. The first thing that they did, they landed in the courtyard area right in here. They originally planned to land up on the roof and have people take the rope and slide down on the roof, but they landed over here with the tail of the Black Hawk right up here. So the first thing they did was they breached through here, then they went into this outer building here, and right when they're getting ready to go up to it, fire started coming through the building. So they got a breach charge, used the breach charge through the door. They look, no one's in there, but they were to go in and clear out this building with all the people, and then eventually moving into the main building. One thing that the Navy SEALs said is that the women were very different here. They weren't like passive, they're very aggressive, which was very startling to them. They hadn't ever seen that before in any other raids. Getting back in here, they cleared out the first floor and heading up to the second main floor. The point man, who's the man in front, they saw a head pop out, and he yells out, "Khalid!" Just whispers it very quietly, and the head pops back out, and the man gets shot, which ended up being Osama's son. They continue going up. They go all the way up into the building to the very top floor. So right now they're right here. They look, they see a man, they shoot him. And after they shoot him, they identified him as Osama. He was tall, dark beard, and the way that they identified him was they called in two of the little kids in the area and they asked them who it was. And they both said Osama Bin Laden because they knew that the kids would be honest and not lie. Now, they didn't say anything over the radio before this point because they knew that the president would probably be listening and a couple other CIA agents. So they didn't want to, set out a false alarm. Forgotten country I passed, Geronimo, EKIA. This is the message that was sent when Osama was killed. Geronimo was his code name for the mission, and this is what they said. And EKIA is enemy killed in action. So after this, they were time to clear everything and grab as much information as they can. Now, time is of the essence. Like they said, they only planned to be on the ground for about 30 minutes, and with the crash landing, they had wasted a lot of that time. So they were able to grab a couple bags, backpacks, anything they had laying around. They filled it with computers, hard drives, and everything. And after that, for about 10 minutes, photos were taken of the body, and they took as much stuff as they possibly could. Now, burial in the ocean, instead of putting the body somewhere else, they wanted to put it in the ocean. So it's out of the way. No country had to deal with that. And again, the whole mission, they had a lot of training into it, but they ran into some hard times. And because of this, the Navy SEALs were able to act quickly and finish the mission with burying the body in the ocean. And 6 hours after they buried the body, the president announced that Osama Bin Laden had been killed. That's my presentation on killing Osama Bin Laden.